Hi, Deneen here. Happy Easter, everyone. I'm going to show you how to make resurrection buns and bread. Okay, and I'm going to take my flour and I'm going to put in 2 cups of flour. And then on top of the flour, I've got my quick active dry yeast. I'm just going to dump that right on top of the flour. Put my lid on and I'm going to jog it. Now I'm going to turn it on low and then I'm going to add my flour as we go. Now you may wonder, how much flour do I use? It's about 10 to 13 cups of flour, but I don't actually go by count. I just know when it's mixing and as I add flour, I can hear my machine to start to gear down and I can see the dough is ready when it's not sticking to the sides anymore. So let's go ahead. I'll show you here what it looks like. So you can see it's not sticking to the sides. And now I know my dough is ready. Well, it's not really ready. I'm gonna put my lid on and I'm gonna let that knead for about 3 to 5 minutes and let the gluten develop. And then I'll show you how to make the resurrection buns. Now we've showed you how to make the dough, and now we have our bowl of marshmallows. They should be the regular size marshmallows, but the grocery store didn't have any. I guess marshmallows are busy or popular at Easter. Okay, so we've got our dough made. I've got my oil. I'm gonna dip my fingers that I've washed in oil. I'm gonna pick up more dough than I need, and I've already practiced a few, and we're going to put, let's count how many little mini ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7's a good number at Easter. And we're just gonna wrap those marshmallows into the dough and place them on our cookie sheet. Okay, let's do some more. Let's get a little bit more dough than we need. And this just comes with experience of kneading each piece. I'm gonna take my 7 marshmallows, one more, and that is the equivalent of about 1 big one. And I just wanna cover it up, and I can make my point, make it nice and smooth on top, make my point at the bottom, and then I can just squeeze off and pinch off the dough. And then I've got a nice bun. So you can see, I'll put it there. And I'll show you one more how to do this. Get a little more dough than I need. Knead it under. Get my 7 marshmallows. This is something you could do with the kids. It's really fun. And then I'm gonna fold it under around the marshmallows evenly till it's nice and round on top. And then there's a bunch of dough at the bottom that I'm just gonna pinch off. And make sure it's sealed, because sometimes the dough cracks at the bottom and then the marshmallow leaks out. So we know that these are filled with 7 little marshmallows. And once we cook them, you're gonna see the magic of the resurrection buns. Now come over here, let me show you. So we've done those. And over here, Grayson, my son, has made some hot cross buns. He's doing a special dessert tonight with buns and butter and brown sugar. It's almost like a bread pudding. Okay, I'll show you what the resurrection buns look like after they're cooked. And they cook at about 375 for 15 minutes or so. You'll know when the top is nice and brown. So set your stove to 375 and let's finish up these buns. Okay, I have some leftover dough here. So we've made all our resurrection buns and braided dough. So now I thought I would make some bread. I love to give bread to all my neighbors at it. Well, just whenever, but especially at Easter or at Christmas. So again, I've got my hands washed, my Oven is preheating at 350. I've got oil on my hands, which is really nice in winter to help that dry skin. And I've made my nice stretchy dough. I'm gonna pull it out. Oh, this is beautiful dough. And I'm just gonna knead it under. And if it's sticking to your fingers, then just add a little more. Always have a dish of oil to dip your fingers in. I'm gonna knead it under. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, perfect, stretchy dough. After time, you just get to know what really nice. This is nice dough because it's not sticking, yet it's beautifully stretchy. And just mold it into such a beautiful loaf of bread. So I've got that kind of the pinch at the bottom, nice and round on top, and I'm gonna place the pinch at the bottom of my pan, into my pan, just like that, into the middle. And then I'm gonna do another, I'll do another one here for you. So I scoop out my dough. Now I didn't let my dough rise, I only let it rise once. Sometimes if I fresh milled my flour, which I do, I'll let it rise twice. And you don't even need to, especially with fresh milled flour. But this is regular white flour, so I'm kneading it under, pinching it at the bottom. Beautiful stretchy dough. Made it nice and smooth on top, just adding a little oil. My pinch is at the bottom, you can see, looks like a bread dough. Placed it in my pans are already non-stick, but I do like to spray them a little bit into my pans. And like I said, I have an egg that is getting to room temperature, and by the time these are ready to bake, which will be in about an hour or 45 minutes, till they've almost doubled in size. And then I'm going to crack my egg and whisk it, and then I'm gonna brush my egg on top, and that'll give it a nice shiny brown look to the bread. Okay, so I'll show you after when the bread is done. I almost forgot to tell you about when the dough is rising. So I've placed it here beside my oven. As you can see, I've got the resurrection buns, or that's the braided bread. Yep, resurrection buns are there. My oven is actually on. So the heat is coming out, and your dough needs to be where it's nice and warm. It's called proofing the dough. So I've got my oven on. Sometimes I'll open it just for 2 minutes or so, let the warm air get all over my dough, and that'll help it rise. But I'm gonna cover all my dough, like I said, for at least 45 minutes to an hour and let it rise. Okay, there goes our timer for our resurrection buns. It took about 17 minutes, so let's pull them out. Oh, look at that. Perfect. You can see some of the marshmallow leaked out, but boy, do they smell yummy. Nice and toasty brown on top. I didn't put any egg brush on these, but you certainly can with a room temperature egg carefully. Just before you put it in the oven, you brush the egg wash on. Now, you're probably wondering, what are resurrection buns? Well, it's very hot, but these were filled with a marshmallow, which represents the Friday of Easter, of Jesus dying on the cross. And then the bun that was filled with marshmallow now has a hole inside, which represents the empty tomb on Sunday in which Jesus rose again, which is beautiful, and they're yummy.